The snow started falling somewhere past thick flakes that blurred the edges of the world until everything was just white and motionless. I'd been driving for 9 hours straight, half a tank left, half a sandwich gone stale on the seat. The cargo in the back wasn't important parts for a weather station, I think. The kind of job nobody thanks you for but still expects done by morning. The road narrowed after dark. My headlights found only walls of snow and the faint suggestion of a shoulder. Every mile looked the same, a tunnel of white noise. I kept the radio on static just to hear something alive. Around midnight, I saw a sign. Eagles Rest Motel 2 miles. I almost missed it under the frost. The place appeared like a bruise in the snow, a single line of rooms, one neon letter flickering. I parked out front, engine idling because the cold felt personal here, like it wanted to come in. Inside, the office smelled of old coffee and dust. A man sat behind the counter, gray stubble, sweater zipped to the neck. He didn't look up right away. When he did, his eyes were the color of the snow outside, flat, depthless. "Need a room," I said. My voice sounded too loud. He nodded, reached under the desk, slid me a key attached to a carved wooden tag. 3. "Heat's on," he said. "Keep it that way." I tried to pay, but he waved me off. "Settle in the morning. Roads'll be shut by then." Room 3 was near the end. The door opened with a sigh, like the room had been waiting. Inside, one bed, one lamp, a small TV humming faintly, though it wasn't plugged in. The air carried a metallic tang, something between iron and mold. I sat on the edge of the bed and listened. Motels all have noise pipes, neighbors, wind, but this one had something else, a low vibration, like breath behind the drywall. I told myself it was the boiler. I called dispatch. No signal. Checked the clock. 12:17. The second hand twitched twice, then stopped. When I lay down, the hum grew louder. It wasn't a sound exactly, it was pressure, a weight in the air. I could feel it behind my eyes, pulsing with the rhythm of my heartbeat. At some point, I drifted off. The first voice came around 3. Soft, distant. Not outside the room, not inside either, somewhere between. "Don't sleep there." I sat up fast, every nerve awake. The heater rattled once and fell silent. I listened for footsteps, breathing, anything. Nothing. Just the hum again, steady, patient. I got up, checked the hallway. Empty. The manager's door at the end was closed, but I thought I saw light moving under it, like someone pacing slowly. Back in my room, the lamp flickered once. I unplugged it. It kept glowing. I told myself I was tired. That's all it was. Fatigue makes ghosts out of shadows. But when I finally shut my eyes again, the voice whispered a second time, closer, almost behind my ear. "Room 3 is not empty." I didn't sleep after that. I sat in the dark, the blanket pulled tight around my shoulders, staring at the lamp that refused to die. The bulb glowed weakly, as if it were breathing. Every few seconds, it would dim, then flare, sensing with the hum in the walls. At 4 o'clock, I tried leaving. The door stuck halfway, frozen at the hinge. I pushed harder. It gave with a groan, snow spilling in like smoke. The lot was buried, the truck just a white lump under the drift. The world outside had disappeared into the storm. When I turned back, the TV was on. Static filled the room, gray and restless. I didn't remember touching it. The sound was faint at first, just the hiss, but then, beneath it, I heard something shape itself into words. 3. Still. Occupied. I stood there, listening. The voice came in fragments, like it was caught between channels. Male, low, too calm. I twisted the dial. The screen flickered. For a moment, my own face flashed back at me, blurred, the mouth open in mid-sentence. Then it was gone. I unplugged the set and shoved it toward the wall. My hands were shaking, my skin hot despite the cold. The air felt thick, electric, the kind that hums before lightning. I caught my reflection in the dark window, eyes wide, face pale. For a heartbeat, the reflection didn't move when I did. That was when the knocking started. 3 slow thuds from the wall behind the bed. I froze. The wall connected to room 4. I remembered seeing its door chain shut when I arrived. Another knock, harder, deliberate. Then silence. I pressed my ear to the plaster. There it was again. A faint breath, someone exhaling just inches away. "Who's there?" My voice came out rough. "Nothing." Then, a whisper, so close it made the hair rise on my arms. "You heard it too." I stumbled back, nearly tripping over the chair. My chest felt hollow, every sound inside me amplified. The room pressed in, walls, ceiling, air all vibrating with that low hum that now sounded like 1,000 voices whispering at once. The clock read 4:33. I swear it had read 4:33 10 minutes ago. I opened the bathroom door to splash water on my face. The mirror was cracked, fogged. For a second, I thought someone stood behind me. But the fog cleared, and it was just me though my mouth was moving, even though I wasn't speaking. The pipes groaned overhead, a deep metallic wail. The sound rolled through the walls, down into the floor. I heard a door slam somewhere far off, then another, closer. I ran to the hallway. Every door stood open now except mine. A gust of wind moved through, carrying a smell like rust and snowmelt. Hello. My voice echoed too long, like the building had more space inside than it should. From somewhere near the office, I heard the radio again, my voice, speaking clearly. Room 3 is not empty. The voice kept replaying in my head long after it stopped coming from the radio. I told myself I should go to the office, wake the manager, demand an explanation, anything, but my legs wouldn't move. The carpet had stiffened under the frost. Every step made a soft crackle, like walking on thin ice. The hallway lights buzzed low, flickering an uneven rhythm. At the far end, the office door stood open just a few inches. I could see the edge of the desk, the empty chair. A faint sound came from behind the counter, something scraping, slow and steady. I said his name though I wasn't sure I'd ever heard it. No answer. Just a scrape, pause, scrape. I pushed the door wider. The radio sat on the desk, turned off but glowing faintly green. Its speaker pulsed with a heartbeat I could feel in my teeth. Behind the counter, boot prints led to a back door dusted white from the drifting snow. The handle was rimed with ice, frozen solid. Whoever had left hadn't gone far. I backed out slowly. When I turned, every door down the hallway was shut again. Room 3 waited at the end, key still hanging in the lock. Inside, the air felt heavier. The lamp that wouldn't die had gone dark at last, but the shadows had weight, as if the room itself were breathing me in. I sat on the bed, shaking, trying to remember simple facts: my route number, my delivery time, my own voice. Each one slipped like ice through fingers. Then, faintly, from the vent above the bed, came the sound of someone crying. Not loud. Not desperate. Just a soft, rhythmic sobbing that rose and fell with the wind. I climbed onto the chair, pressed my ear to the grate. The metal was warm. "Help me," the voice said. Clear. A woman's voice. "He never leaves." I jerked back so hard the chair toppled. The vent stayed silent, but the words kept echoing, bouncing off the walls until I couldn't tell if they were still being spoken or just remembered. I grabbed my coat and shoved the door open again. The storm had eased, snow falling in slow spirals under the neon light. The office window glowed faintly from within, shapes moving behind the curtain, shadows too tall, too thin. I called out once, twice. Nothing. When I turned to look back at my room, the number on the door was gone. Only a patch of bare wood where the tag had been. That's when the humming started again, deep this time, coming from beneath the floor. It grew until the whole building seemed to vibrate with it. The walls pulsed in time with my heart, the snow outside shaking loose from the eaves. And through it, under it, I heard a single voice, calm, almost kind. "You shouldn't have come here alone." The floor shook once, hard enough to make the lamp rattle on the nightstand. Then silence, thick, perfect. I stood in it, waiting for the next tremor, but the quiet only deepened until I could hear my own pulse drumming in my ears. Something dripped near the bathroom. I followed the sound. The sink was dry, but a thin line of water crept down the wall from the ceiling. When I touched it, it felt warm. I looked up and saw a dark patch spreading slowly through the plaster, breathing in and out. The hum returned, softer now, inside my chest. I tried humming back, some stupid reflex to match the pitch and the vibration, and the walls shifted in response, like the building was listening. I backed away, heart racing, eyes on the ceiling. The patch had stopped moving, but the air pulsed. I grabbed my bag, my jacket, my keys frozen, useless, and shoved everything toward the door. The knob turned once, then locked itself mid-spin. My breath fogged the air. The smell of metal thickened, sharp enough to sting. I shouted for the manager, for anyone, but my voice died halfway, muffled as if wrapped in cloth. From the hall came an answering sound, footsteps, slow, dragging, then stopping right outside my door. I didn't move. A pause. Then 3 knocks, soft as a heartbeat. I waited, frozen, until the silence broke with a whisper through the wood. "Room 3 still occupied." I stumbled back, the words cutting straight through the air. The door handle twisted once, twice, but didn't open. I heard breathing on the other side, steady, measured, matching mine beat for beat. I tried the window. Frost rimmed the glass from within. I scraped it with my sleeve, but outside was only white. No truck. No road. Just an endless sheet of snow that curved upward like the horizon had folded in on itself. Behind me, the TV flickered on again. No picture this time, just sound, the same hiss, now shaped into words I knew. My own voice. He never leaves. He never. I pulled the plug, threw the set on the floor, and it kept talking, quieter now, as though speaking from inside the walls. My knees buckled. I pressed my palms to my ears. The sound didn't fade, it was inside. My heartbeat had taken the rhythm. My breath moved with the same pulse. Somewhere above, a door slammed. The crying from the vent returned, clearer. Don't answer him. The hum grew sharp, almost musical. I could taste copper. The room dimmed until only the outline of the bed remained, a dark island in the noise. I sank down beside it, back against the wall, hands over my face, whispering words I hoped were prayers. The last thing I remember before the light went out was hearing two voices. One was mine. The other was closer. You're home now. I woke to silence. Real silence. The kind that feels heavy, like a blanket pressed against the ears. The room was still dark, but the air no longer pulsed. No hum. No voices. Just a faint creak of settling wood. My head throbbed. My mouth tasted like dust. I pushed myself upright, blinking at the dim outline of the nightstand. The digital clock was frozen at 3:03. For a long moment, I didn't move. I waited for the whisper at the door, the footsteps, the voice from the vent. Nothing came. When I finally stood, my legs trembled. I reached for the doorknob and half expected it to twist away from me again, but it turned easily, smooth and cold. The hallway outside was empty. Every door stood open. The carpet was clean, unmarked, no frost, no prints. The lights glowed steady and warm, humming normally. I walked slowly toward the office. My breath stayed soft, my pulse steady. The office door was wide open. Inside, the desk was tidy, papers stacked neatly, radio dark and silent. No signs of movement, no footprints, no shadows stretched behind the curtain. A note sat on the counter. I picked it up with shaking fingers. Checked out 3:03. My name was written beneath it in handwriting that wasn't mine. I dropped the note. It fluttered to the floor like something weightless. My chest tightened. I backed out of the office, turned toward the exit, and walked out into the morning light. The snow was untouched except for a single straight line, tire tracks leading away from the motel and disappearing into the road. My truck sat waiting, engine off, windows clear. I climbed inside. The keys were already in the ignition. The radio crackled as soon as I turned the power on. Not static this time. A voice. My voice. Don't look back. I killed the radio and sat there, gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles went white. The motel loomed behind the windshield, pale and still, windows dark, doors open to the wind. For a long time, I didn't move. I watched the snow fall in thin, tired flakes. The world felt muted, drained, unreal. Finally, I turned the key. The engine shuddered awake. As I pulled onto the road, the motel shrank in the rearview mirror until it was just a shape, then a blur, then nothing at all. I didn't look back. But sometimes when it's late, when the air hums just wrong, when the snow falls too quietly, I hear that voice again in the vent above my bed. Soft. Patient. Room 3 still occupied.